Hello everyone, and welcome to my YNR 24 Spoilers channel. The betrayal of a trusted family member, Victor's demise? According to Spoilers for the Young and the Restless, Victor Newman, Eric Braden, consistently emerges victorious. Given all the meddling in his family member's life, it appears that the patriarch should be dealing with a loss soon. Jack Abbott makes an urgent plea to Victoria Newman. Could the one family member Victor trusts the most turn on him by the end of the AI plot? Let's discuss the options after you finish reading this. Fans are aware that Victor and others have learned of Cain Ashby's, Billy Flynn, AI scheme in Victor Newman's family battle. The tycoon apparently intends to use the technique to take control of any company's financial systems. Cain must have accumulated his money in this way during the 6 years he was away. Victor is attempting to form coalitions and take some risks. Even though the Mustache has never been completely vanquished, might something unexpected happen? The man has made an effort to bring his family together, but there might be a problem. Jack Abbott's request. Jack is caught off guard by Billy Abbott's abrupt action. The patriarch has stopped sponsoring Abbott Communications, although he is unaware of the specific reasons behind the party's cancellation. When Billy offered to return the money, as though he no longer needed it, Jack and Diane Jenkins Abbott were both shocked. There will be a twist when Sally Spector breaks down to Diane and Jack worries about Billy's future. It is said that Jack asks Victoria for assistance. Victoria appears to know her father the best, even if she doesn't want to become embroiled in the conflict between the Abbotts and Newman. The moral conundrum of Victoria Newman. According to teasers for the Young and the Restless, Jack may face ethical quandaries if he asks Victoria for assistance. Victoria recently told Claire Grace Newman, Haley Aaron, that she wasn't shocked to learn about Victor's covert agreement with Kyle Abbott. Victoria has always appeared to have the utmost trust from Victor and Nikki Newman, Melody Thomas Scott, but may she ultimately be the one to betray them? Victoria had grown weary of her father's failure to learn his teachings. Jack would also ask her to be unfaithful to her own father, who has always been there for her. Victoria is aware that there will be hell to pay if this occurs. Even Nikki is growing tired of her husband's antics. At the same time, would Victoria and Nikki be able to assist Jack in permanently stopping Victor? Post your ideas in the space provided for comments below. To find out what happens next, don't forget to continue watching the soap opera on CBS or Paramount+. The twins turn away Cain. Claire reveals Audra's deceit, and Victor astounds Claire. This is your weekly summary of the episodes of The Young and the Restless that aired from August 18th to August 22nd, 2025. The Young and the Restless events. On The Young and the Restless, Cain and Phyllis raise a glass to their non-partnership image, CBS. Lily firmly rejected Cain's request for another chance this week on The Young and the Restless, leaving him to tell the twins about his double life on his own. Holden was cautioned by Lily to keep an eye on Cain. An overly eager Phyllis was reminded by Cain that they were neither equals nor partners. Cain was reprimanded by Phyllis for delaying his invasion of Genoa City. Cain gave Phyllis the assignment to master artificial intelligence. Adam and Chelsea prepared for Cain to launch a counterattack. Nick's attempts to win Cain over as an ally raised suspicions in Phyllis's mind. Holden was told by Cain to put Nick on the list of those with whom to establish contact. Cain tried to contact Maddie and Charlie, but they turned him down. Nate found it hard to accept Audra's statement that she had chosen to stop receiving financing from Victor. Although he had some reservations about Audra's claims, Nate made an effort to support her intention to work at Abbott Communications. Claire told Holden that she didn't believe Kyle's account of what had transpired with Audra. Claire and Tessa sympathized with their problems. Tessa and Daniel had a private moment together. While Audra still maintained her claim that Kyle had approached her, Claire told Nate that Victor had withdrawn his funds because Audra had failed to damage Claire and Kyle's relationship by seducing him. Audra omitted to mention that Victor was correct when he predicted that Kyle would shatter Claire's heart. Devin encouraged Nate to follow his instincts as he struggled to decide whether to believe Claire or Audra. To keep their connection intact, Nate gently prodded Audra for the truth while addressing the gaps in her account. Audra abandoned Nate. Claire was taken aback when Victor finally consented to acknowledge her relationship with Kyle. Although Kyle had passed his test, Victor later informed him that he would never put his trust in an Abbott. Jack warned that if the truth were out, Kyle's lie of omission about kissing Audra in Nice may cause issues. Sally was anxious about the demands of managing a family business as she organized the founding of Abbott Communications. But Billy reassured her that she would succeed. Chelsea had a feeling Billy was up to something major. Diane and Jack spent a romantic evening with an Italian theme. Watch The Young and the Restless in its entirety on CBS or stream it on Paramount+. The betrayal of a trusted family member, Victor's demise? According to spoilers for The Young and the Restless, Victor Newman is always portrayed as Genoa City's giant, a man who never really loses despite the overwhelming odds. He has carefully used his influence for decades, managing and protecting his family. However, as the AI plot develops, rumors of a fall from grace infiltrate the Newman estate like unavoidable shadows. This time, the loss may not be caused by a family enmity, a boardroom coup, or even a competitor company. Rather, it might originate from his daughter Victoria and wife Nikki, the two people Victor feels he can trust the most. Weary of his constant meddling and demand for dominance, both women find themselves at a precarious juncture when they must choose between their fervent desire to regain their freedom and their family allegiance. The dynamics of the Newman legacy will change if Victor is deceived, which will also rock the foundation of his empire. The battle of Victor Newman's family. Victor's disintegration is triggered by his fixation on Kane Ashby's AI operation. Victor understands both the danger and the potential after seeing how Kane utilized artificial intelligence to tamper with banking systems and accumulate a secret fortune during his 6-year disappearance. Technology has always been a double-edged sword for Victor. He is aware that Newman Enterprises may rule not only Genoa City, but the entire world if he takes over Kane's system. But it's more than simply business. Victor sees it as a means of demonstrating that no one can outthink him, not even his own kids, not even Kane or Jack. Despite his bluster, Victor's kingdom is beginning to show signs of weakness. His efforts to rally his family around him are not succeeding. Nikki is worn out from his cunning. Victoria feels as though his continual manipulation is suffocating her. Adam is a shadowy figure who is never completely trusted. Nick, who prioritizes peace above conquest, is also dubious. Victor is standing on shaky footing for the first time in years. Despite being in charge, the Mustache's men are becoming less devoted. Jack Abbott's request. Jack Abbott, meantime, is dealing with his own issues, once again displaying unpredictable behavior. Billy Abbott surprises Jack by leaving Abbott Communications. Jack is left wondering why he decided to abruptly cancel a crucial project. Jack initially thinks it's just Billy being irresponsible, impetuous, and harmful to himself. Jack quickly learns, however, that things are much more complicated. Billy is no longer requesting Jack's assistance or backing. Rather, he is acting as though someone else is in control, someone with more money and a secret objective. Diane, who is also perplexed by Billy's behavior, hears Jack's confession. Jack feels the whole weight of responsibility fall on him when Sally Spectra breaks down under the strain of managing Abbott Communications and turns to Diane in tears. Desperate, Jack goes to Victoria Newman, something he vowed never to do. Despite their complex past and their family's ongoing animosity, Jack is aware that Victoria knows Victor better than anybody. Victor's daughter is the best person to foresee what he will do next. The moral conundrum of Victoria Newman. Victoria is conflicted. Jack's request for assistance is reasonable. She confides in Claire that she isn't surprised by Victor's shady partnership with Kyle Abbott and acknowledges that her father has gone too far with Kane's AI plan. For Victoria, it's the same old tale over and over again. Victor rules, Victor manipulates, Victor prevails, and everyone else suffers as a result. But betraying her dad? She is unsure about her ability to take that step. Despite undermining her independence, Victor has consistently been her strongest advocate, mentor, and supporter. Her fragile sense of identity as a Newman and a leader in her own right would be destroyed if she betrayed him, in addition to losing his trust. However, Victoria feels a perilous seed of doubt sprout within of her as Jack pushes her to think about assisting him in stopping Victor's next power move. When Nikki expresses her own dissatisfaction, her moral quandary becomes more pressing. Nikki has been Victor's devoted wife for years, putting up with his betrayals, secrets, and insatiable need for power. This time, though, Nikki acknowledges that she's had enough. Their family, as well as countless lives, could be destroyed if Victor is successful in turning Kane's AI into a weapon. A startling partnership is set up by Nikki's private admission to Victoria. This might be a mother-daughter betrayal of the man who has shaped their lives. The breaking point for Nikki. Perhaps the most emotional struggle is that of Nikki. Through betrayals, affairs, corporate conflicts, and health difficulties, she has supported Victor. More times than anyone can count, she has forgiven him. However, Nikki reaches her breaking point as she watches him take advantage of Claire, set Kyle against Jack, and plunge into risky technology. She worries for the soul of her family as well as her marriage. Nikki reflects about her decades with Victor while sitting by herself on the Newman property at one point. Every memory is tinged with both anguish and desire. She remembers all the times she attempted to leave but was dragged back into his sphere of influence. For the first time, though, Nikki questions whether simply leaving might not be sufficient. She might need to take action against him to safeguard her kids and grandkids. The two ladies become closer than they have been in years after Nikki confides in Victoria about her worries in a private manner. If we don't stop him, who will? Is a straightforward yet profound question. Victoria doesn't answer, but the look in her eyes tells everything. Claire dispels Audra's falsehoods. Another thread unravels in the meantime. Determined to keep Kyle and herself safe, Claire Grace Newman eventually reveals Audra Charles's dishonesty. In an attempt to persuade Nate and others that Kyle pursued her, Audra has been constructing a complex web of partial truths. However, Claire dismantles Audra's story piece by piece with the help of proof and determination. Nate is compelled to face the reality after finding it difficult to entirely believe either woman. When Audra's falsehoods are exposed, she becomes angry and alone. But even when defeated, Audra is still a threat. Victor, the guy from whom she withdrew funding after failing him, becomes the target of her ire. Audra, who has nothing left to lose, starts planning her retaliation, an unpredictable wild card in a game that is already getting out of hand. Claire is stunned by Victor, but when Victor makes a rare concession, it takes everyone by surprise. He confides in Claire in a private moment that he approves of her relationship with Kyle. She is shocked by the remarks, and for a moment she lets herself think Victor has finally softened. However, the truth is revealed in his subsequent talk with Kyle. Although he acknowledges that Kyle passed his test, he will never have faith in an Abbott. The message is unambiguous. Victor's conflict with the Abbotts will never be resolved, even though Claire may have his short-term approval. Victor's demise is aptly captured by this duality, displaying suspicion with one hand while giving love with the other. Even his acts of compassion are contaminated by his incapacity to forgive, to let go of grudges, or to give up power. Claire starts to see what Victoria and Nikki have known all along. Victor's love frequently costs them their independence. Kane is rejected by his family. Kane Ashby has to face his own consequences, as if Victor's kingdom weren't already precarious. His attempts to mend their strained connection are flatly rejected by his twins, Charlie and Maddie. They see his cunning and fixation with AI as evidence that he hasn't evolved. It is evident that Cain is heading in the direction of ruin as Lily's warnings reverberate in their ears. Cain becomes closer to Phyllis as a result of this rejection, and she keeps nudging him to take action. Cain must quit hesitating and take Genoa City for himself, according to Phyllis. However, Cain is irresponsible due of his desperation. Victor plans to take advantage of his vulnerability to make risky mistakes as a result of his inability to win back his children. The scene is prepared. Genoa City prepares for a conflict unlike any other as the pieces come together. Victor rushes on with his AI scheme, driven by paranoia and pride. Jack seeks an odd partnership with Victoria in an attempt to save Billy and his companions. Knowing that betraying Victor could save countless lives but permanently ruin their family, Nikki and Victoria struggle with their morals. Who will push Victor is the real question, not if he will fall. Will it be his enduring rival Jack? Will it be Cain, who is so focused on his own goals? Or would his wife and daughter band together against him, which would be the ultimate betrayal? In conclusion, the betrayal that has the power to transform everything. Legacy, the never-ending conflicts between families, and the precarious equilibrium between love and treachery are all sources of sustenance for the young and the restless. This plot, however, dares to change the course of events. Victor Newman, who always wins, might finally lose for the first time. And since it will originate in his own household, the loss will be more profound than any corporate takeover or competing plot. There will be disastrous repercussions if Victoria and Nikki betray him. Victor would now have to confront a reality he has long denied. Sometimes the biggest enemy isn't seated across the boardroom table, but rather at his own dinner table. The Newman Empire might never fully recover.